Hi guys, welcome to my channel to yet another amazing tutorial on how to better your photography and get those pictures that will make people say wow. So as you know, I'm doing a tutorial on how to retouch your portraits or how to retouch your pictures so that they have that balanced skin tone and they have a good presentation, because sometimes when you take pictures from the camera you can't control some things such as the lighting. When you're shooting in the sun, you cannot control how the model's face might look. Maybe she can have a reaction or something. So you always need to balance your pictures when you are now in Photoshop or Lightroom, of which I prefer using Photoshop because it gives me a lot of functions and I can do a lot of things with Photoshop. And if this is your first time watching my video, please click on the subscribe button and turn on notifications so that each and every time I upload amazing tutorials, you are notified. So today I'm going to be doing a retouch tutorial to the pictures that I posted earlier. I posted a YouTube video that was showing behind the scenes of how I do my photo shoots, and that was just part one of how I compose the picture, how I shoot the picture. Today I'm going to do a tutorial on how I retouch those pictures so that I have the final product. So first and foremost, the first thing that I will come and do is to open my picture, and I always shoot in RAW. So I come and right click, open my picture, and it pops up in Photoshop. So I usually do a little bit of balancing of the picture, color balance or color grading as you would say, with HSL adjustments, and I do it with Camera Raw. So the moment that I plug in my picture, Camera Raw automatically picks it up, and then it brings me to the HSL adjustment so that I can begin to color grade it as you are seeing on the screen. And I was using a Canon 70D, a simple DSLR. So what I usually do when I open my picture and it brings me to Camera Raw, I usually try to check with auto if auto color grading will give me anything in particular or anything that I like. And most of the times I play around the settings from auto because it saves me a lot of time. So in this scenario, my picture was okay, but I just wanted to reduce the highlights because some parts of the picture they had a lot of sun, and then the other part was being lit by the speed light. So the part that was exposed by the sun is overexposed. So I'm going to reduce my highlights and I'll increase my shadows, and I'm also going to pop up the greens a little bit because I shot this outside where there are trees and flowers and vegetation. So I'll pop up the greens a little bit so that the picture looks like this. So after I have done this, the first thing that I do is I convert to profile and convert it to sRGB, so that when I post to Instagram or I post on WhatsApp status or I post it on Facebook, it doesn't change color. After I convert the profile, I duplicate my layer by dragging it down to create new, or by just simply clicking Ctrl J. And after I've done that, I start retouching. But before I do frequency separation or anything, I want to remove any blemish that is on the subject or object's face. For example, I have small pimples that are on the face that I know they are not a permanent feature. They might not be there tomorrow, and sometimes it's because we've been shooting in the sun and her face is now reacting and makeup is now wearing out. So I remove these small things. It depends with the size of the pimples or the size of the things that you want to remove. Most of the times I use the spot healing brush, but if I'm removing things that are very, very small that needs to be removed one, I use the patch tool. I like the patch tool because it does not leave like patches on the face or different colors on the face of the model. So after I have done this, I zoom out. You need to zoom out a lot, and then you can see all the detail, so that when you do your frequency separation, there is nothing that is in your picture that can now cause differences or something that is very noticeable, like a big pimple or something like that. It's just a little bit distracting. But at the end of the day, it's up to you and the model and it's up to the model or the subject as well to indicate if they want these things removed. Some people like their pictures natural, so you have to communicate with the model. And I did a photo shoot of this model, Cape Woman Finds. She's a fashion stylist. Please follow her on Instagram. Her name is Cape Woman Finds on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And I will leave the links to her social media pages in the description channel. So what I do, going back to the retouching, what I do is I make sure that I have removed everything that I don't want to appear on my picture, because sometimes, you know, it's normal that someone can wake up with a little bit of rash or a little bit of a reaction. It's something that is very normal. So this is what I do. I make sure that your skin is now even before I start the other part of the retouching process. And maybe you just joined my video, please click on the subscribe button if this is your first time, and also turn on notifications so that each and every time when I'm posting new content, you are notified. And this is a photo shoot that I did recently in the sun. I shot this at midday. I know some people say you need to shoot in golden hour, which is good, but sometimes you have no option than just to shoot maybe in the middle of the day at 12 noon or 1 p.m. So I did this photo shoot in the afternoon, and if you are curious to know how I did it, there is a link to the previous video on my channel. It's in the description tab. There is a link to the behind the scenes, and you can see how I came up with this shoot. So as I was saying, I don't want to talk much. I don't want to make this tutorial very long. And after I have done this, it looks as if I have removed everything that I don't want on the model's skin. And I particularly chose this picture that has her shoulders and her arms open, so that you can see the power of retouching a picture and how amazing skin tones someone's skin can look when you mesh the skin tones and do frequency separation. So I'm just cross-checking to see if there is something that I missed, and there is nothing. So I want to just cross-check as well on the face, and I'm going to zoom out and check, and this is before, this is after. So I've removed everything as I am seeing. I think there's nothing that I can say I don't want. So before I do frequency separation, I click on Ctrl D to deselect, and then I click on frequency separation. I have assigned my things in buttons. As you can see, I chose the radius of 5.5 because I want the skin to be very smooth. So if I'm going to do another tutorial of how you can make actions, you can make actions and buttons so that you don't have to repeat the whole process of high pass and low pass. You just do it once and you make it into actions that you can just click as buttons, and you just start doing a frequency separation. So I have chosen that, and I pick the mixer brush. The weight is 2, the load is 74, and mix is 90. And make sure that your brush is clean, and then you can start doing your frequency separation. And this is the before and after. So the tip is, when you're doing your frequency separation and using your mixer brush, always pick areas that have the same lighting. For example, there are some places that might have too much highlights and some places have shadows. So you need to pick the places that have the same lighting so that your person doesn't have, you know, like a camouflage on her face. So this is how I do, and I'm going to fast forward this part so that I don't, you know, you don't have to watch for a long time whilst I am talking and talking and talking, and you're seeing this is something that is simple that you can just replicate. So I usually start with the forehead, and after I do the forehead, I go to the cheekbones, and I do not retouch much of the nose. I don't retouch much of the nose because I don't want her to have a flat nose, because it's not flattering, and when she has a flat nose, she doesn't, you know, the person doesn't look or seem to have much life. So I do the forehead first. I go to the cheekbones, and it's either I leave the nose, or I just retouch it a little bit, or I create another frequency separation where I use a higher radius for the nose. So for the sake of time, I am not going to do frequency separation twice, because normally I do frequency separation with a different radius on the face, and I create another frequency separation action again and do separately on the shoulders and the arms and the hands, so that they have, you know, normal skin tones. But for the sake of time, I'm not going to do it here. I'm just going to make sure that I do more retouching. I brush more on the face and brush less on the arms and the shoulders and the hands. And after I've done that, I'm just going to finish on the hands as well, and I'll keep on zooming and checking to see if I've done well. Sometimes you need to reduce the size of your brush, sometimes you need to increase it so that you are precise, because you want your work to be beautiful and precise. So after I do my frequency separation, I'm going to do dodge and bend. If you're wondering why my things are in folders, I like putting everything on mine in the folder so that I can toggle the visibility button to see before and after, and I can also track what I have been doing. So after I've done my frequency separation, I am going to go to dodge and bend, and I'm going to click on dodge and on bend, and I'm going to change my brush. This time around I'm going to use the brush, not the mixer brush, and make sure that your opacity is 100 and your flow is 1, so that you don't have exaggerated highlights and shadows. And I'm going to increase my brush. I always start with burning, and you need to burn in the parts that are, you know, that are lower, that have shadows. And always make sure that on your left tab there, as I just clicked, white is on top, because white reveals and black hides. So for you to reveal the shadows, for you to give, you know, that shadow underneath her eyelids, you need to bend there, and you should have white on that adjustment panel there. So I am going to bend underneath her eyes and on the dimples, places where normally there is a shadow, and then on her, I don't know what you call that part of her body, but you can see on the screen anyway. And so you do this so that you bring back those contour lines that you have destroyed when you were doing frequency separation. So after that, I am going to dodge. I'm going to dodge every part that is protruding from her body, every from her face and body, from the nose, so that it's a little bit shiny and it has highlights. Because when ladies are doing this, they always make sure they put bronzer on their nose, on their cheekbones, and on the part of their forehead. So I'm going to dodge on that part so that it's popping and her face is not flat, so that she can show some life. You don't want your subject to be flat. It's not nice at all. So I dodge as well on the cheekbones, and make sure that your flow of your brush is on one, otherwise it will be too shiny and it will be white and distracting. And I'm also going to do the same on her eyeshadow, so that it's a little bit shiny and popping as well, and different from the other part of her skin. So this is what you do. This is what I always do after I do frequency separation. This is so that you can see the contour lines, you can see the shape of someone's face, because frequency separation sometimes tends to destroy contour lines and your person ends up just having a flat face and she looks like a doll or something that is made out of silicone. So I'm going to continue and check. I'm going to do the same as well on her hands, so that they're a little bit shiny, the outer part of her hands, and I'll do it on the arms as well. And I'll continue doing it even up to the shoulders. And after I have done all that, I am going to name my folder Dodge and Bend. And after I name my folder Dodge and Bend, I am going to create a new layer and combine these changes that I have made by simply clicking on Control Alt Shift and then E. Is going to copy everything and create a new layer. And I'm also going to clean the eyes by using the action that is there. Now when I'm cleaning the eyes, I'll always make sure that I increase the flow to at least 60, so that the changes that I'm making can be seen, so that it leaves a mark. And I'm going to whiten her eyes, not too much but just a little bit, so that her eyes can be a little bit white, and I can remove, sometimes the eyes can become red or yellowish because someone has been in the sun, or because of the effect of the speed light flashing into her on her face and stuff like that. So this is before and after. There is a little bit of a change. You might not see the big difference, but when you zoom out, you see that there is a big difference. So I'm going to do that to the other eye as well. And after I finish with the other eye, I am going to do the same retouching to her teeth, but I am going to increase the flow rather on this. Before I go to the teeth, I'm going to increase the flow because this other eye is showing some particles, so I want it to be a little bit more clearer and whiter, so that you don't see the strands that are in her eyes. So I think this is looking okay for me. This is before and after. I don't want the eyes to be too white as well, so I'm also going to reduce the flow before I go to her teeth, so that the teeth are not overly white, because you have to match the teeth and the eyes, because if one of them is too white, it's going to be a little bit distracting. So I'm going to do the same for her teeth and make them a little bit white, because we are drinking juice when we are doing the photo shoot, we are drinking water, so it's going to make her teeth a little bit dirty as well. And since this is for a fashion stylist, we want it to be beautiful and wow, so we are going to zoom out and see that there is a little bit of a difference. Now after we have done this, the next thing that I want to do is to do color grading for the skin. So I'm going to copy that group, because I already created a folder that has a color grading for the skin, because at times when we do color grading, popping up greens and all that, they also come on the face of the model. So since I'm not doing selective color grading and I'm not going to brush it off, I need to color grade her skin so that we have realistic skin tones. And I'm going to post another video of the process of how I create this skin color grading adjustment folder or layer. But for today, I'm going to copy the one that I've made so far, and I'm going to place it here. So you can see that there is already a big difference. There are so many things that I have done, that I have adjusted to make sure that her skin is like this, and you can see that there's a difference. But she looks a little bit dark. I'm going to pull up the curves a little bit so that the picture is not that much dark, and I'm going to play around with my curves adjustment so that it's a little bit light and her picture shows a little bit of life. So please, as I said, click on subscribe, click on turn on notifications. I am going to do a video that I show you how you can do this skin color grading, and so that you can have that, you don't want your model to look greenish or yellowish after you have done your SHL adjustment. So this is before and after. You can see the big difference before and after, before and after. So this is how I retouch my pictures, guys. This is how I retouch my portraits, my pictures, my photo shoots. And I am just going to merge the adjustments that I have made, and I'm going to resize my picture. Why do I resize my picture? I resize my picture because sometimes the picture is too big after doing retouching. It can be 20 megabytes, 15 megabytes, and you want to post it on Instagram. You want it not to consume your space. So you go to your image, you go to resize, and make sure that resolution is locked, and then you click on 1080, and it's going to lock it to 1080, and it's going to give you a perspective resolution that is calculated according to the first that you have placed, 1080. So you realize that my image is now drastically small. When I'm exporting it, it's now on 1.1 megabyte, and I can export it at 100% quality and JPEG without compromising the quality of the picture. I have just scaled it, and it's not going to pixelate, which means my picture is suitable for Instagram, it's suitable for WhatsApp status, and it's in RSGB as well. It's suitable for any type of posting media that I want to use. And guys, this is the end of the tutorial. If you have any questions, please shoot inbox me on my social media, Impact Visuals. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever you name it, it's Impact Visuals. And you can even leave questions in the comment section of this video. If you have any particular question about retouching or photo shoots or photography, I will be quick to answer. Follow me on my social media accounts. Follow me from Instagram, Twitter, everywhere you can follow me. And if you can visit my website as well, so that you can see my portfolio. And I also do graphic designing, I do logo creation. Anything that you need, I can help you. If you need mentorship in photography, just use the contact us button and I'll be in touch with you. So guys, till next time, make sure you click like, you put in some views, you share this video with someone that you think should see it. And kindly, again, if this is your first time, turn on notifications, subscribe in the channels, using the buttons and the icons that are below. So till next time, guys, for you to know how I came up with this Photoshop, I have put the link for the behind the scenes, the BTS. Watch the previous video. Thank you for watching this video, guys, and thank you for tuning in to my channel. Till next time, goodbye. Bye.